Psychology says people who stop explaining themselves aren't rude, aren't arrogant, and aren't trying to be difficult. In most cases, their brain has simply reached a level of self-awareness where constant justification feels exhausting, pointless, or beneath them. And if you've reached a point where you no longer feel the need to explain your choices, your boundaries, or your lifestyle to others, there are real psychological reasons behind it. 1. You've realized that most people aren't actually listening. They're just waiting to judge. If you've stopped explaining yourself, you've probably noticed something crucial. Most people don't ask questions because they want to understand. They ask because they want ammunition to criticize, dismiss, or project their own insecurities onto you. Research shows that as emotional intelligence increases, people become better at distinguishing genuine curiosity from disguised judgment. You can tell within seconds whether someone genuinely wants to know your reasoning or whether they've already made up their mind about you. You're done with conversations where you pour your heart out explaining your decisions, only to watch them nod along while clearly not listening. They're just waiting for their turn to tell you why you're wrong. Your brain picks up on the micro-expressions, the dismissive tone, the subtle eye rolls. So instead of wasting energy on people who've already decided you're making a mistake, you simply stop engaging. You protect your peace by refusing to participate in one-sided conversations disguised as dialogue. 2. You've developed what psychologists call high internal validation. People who stop explaining themselves don't rely on external approval to feel confident in their choices. Psychology calls this internal locus of control. You've shifted from needing others to validate your decisions to trusting your own judgment completely. This doesn't mean you don't value input. It means you no longer need permission or approval to live your life. You don't need to explain why you're leaving that job, ending that relationship, or choosing a different path. While most people seek consensus before making moves, you've learned to trust yourself. You've made enough decisions, seen enough outcomes, and learned enough lessons to know that you understand your life better than anyone watching from the outside. This makes you seem closed off to people who are used to everyone seeking their opinion. But it's actually confidence. You know that the people who matter will trust you, and the people who don't trust you don't matter enough to receive an explanation. 3. Past experiences taught you that explanations get used against you. People who stop explaining themselves often share one common history. They've watched their words get twisted, their reasons get dismissed, or their vulnerability get weaponized. Betrayal, manipulative relationships, or growing up in environments where everything you said was used against you later. Psychology shows that once the brain recognizes a pattern of conversational exploitation, it becomes protective and selective about sharing. You've been in situations where you explained yourself honestly, only to have those exact words thrown back at you during an argument. You've watched people take your reasons, distort them, and spread them as gossip. You've experienced the exhausting cycle of explaining, being misunderstood anyway, then having to explain your explanation. So now you observe more and share less. You've learned that some people don't deserve access to your thought process. This creates what psychologists call strategic withholding, a protective mechanism where you keep your reasoning private until someone proves they can handle it with respect. 4. Your energy is now reserved for people and things that actually matter. Some people naturally develop what psychology calls selective engagement. After years of over-explaining to everyone, your brain realized something important. Your time and emotional energy are finite resources. Every explanation you give is energy you can't spend on your goals, your growth, or the people who actually appreciate you. Research shows that high achievers and self-factualized individuals become extremely protective of where their energy goes. You can't stand the mental exhaustion of justifying yourself to people who have no real impact on your life. Random acquaintances questioning your choices. Family members who bring nothing but criticism. Coworkers who think they deserve a full breakdown of your personal decisions. Instead of draining yourself, trying to make everyone understand, you've learned to simply say, "This works for me," and move on. You don't owe strangers, critics, or even well-meaning busybodies a detailed explanation of your life. While most people waste hours defending themselves to anyone who asks, you've become ruthlessly selective about who gets your explanation and who gets a polite boundary. 5. You've reached a level of self-awareness where you no longer question your own decisions. People who stop explaining themselves have typically done deep internal work. They've questioned themselves enough, analyzed their patterns, understood their values, and made peace with who they are. Psychology shows this is called integrated self-concept. You know yourself so well that external confusion doesn't create internal doubt anymore. You've already asked yourself the hard questions. Why am I doing this? Is this authentic to who I am? Am I running toward something or away from something? You've done the work in therapy, in journaling, in honest self-reflection. So when someone questions your choice, you don't spiral into self-doubt like you used to. You think, I've already processed this. I know my reasons. I don't need to prove them to you. This isn't arrogance. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself deeply. You've moved past the stage where other people's confusion makes you question your own clarity. Here's what this means. If you've stopped explaining yourself, it doesn't mean you're becoming cold or disconnected. It means you've developed stronger boundaries, deeper self-trust, and a clearer understanding of where your energy belongs. You have more respect for your own time, sharper discernment about who deserves access to your inner world, and the confidence to move through life without needing a committee to approve every decision. Sometimes, the people with the clearest sense of self stop talking and start doing. They stop justifying and start living. Help me to hit that subscribe button right now, because the next video might reveal something about yourself you've never realized.